the Election Commission, we do have a lot of expectations of. It is responsible for ensuring that there are free and fair elections in our country. And I think, by and large, the role that the Election Commission has played has been seen to be conducting free and fair elections. Unfortunately, the last few elections, the cycles have raised some very serious concerns. And I would like to say that the Election Commission has seemed to be wanting in terms of its response. There have been concerns of selective action on complaints that have been made. We would like action by the referee against anyone who is flouting the model code of conduct, for example, the ruling party and the opposition parties. But we've been seeing regularly in elections that when there is a complaint against the opposition, there's action with great alacrity. But if there are similar or maybe sometimes even more grave complaints against the ruling party, that's not been happening. I think the question that has also come up in the recent past is very clearly on who is being appointed an election commissioner. And the matter, of course, went up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that because it's a referee, it should not look like there's a preponderance of any one political party, even if it's the ruling party, which is seen to be selecting the election commissioners. And therefore, they said a balanced committee of the Prime Minister, the Leader of Opposition, and the Chief Justice of India should select election commissioners. And we saw that very quickly after that, the government brought in a bill, and which became law, where the Chief Justice was replaced by one of the ministers, Union Cabinet ministers. So we again have a preponderance of the ruling party. And in that situation, when we see selective action, where the Election Commission is not seen to be acting with adequate urgency against members of the ruling party when they are violating or their alleged violations of the model code of conduct, I think that raises very serious question in any democracy. I think in terms of transparency, there has been a huge problem, because there seemed to be an understanding that elections are being held for political parties. In a democracy, elections are not held for political parties, they're held for citizens, for them to elect people who they want to represent them. And even on something as basic as the voter turnout, for example, when people have asked for Form 17C, for example, where they want to know how many people went out and voted in each booth in the country, the Election Commission has just flatly refused to give that information, and the copies of Form 17C. Of course, we heard a very eloquent press conference where there was a lot of shero-shairi, and we were told that there's nothing to worry about. But in the absence of very, very objective data, and Form 17C is really the one document, statutory document, that tells us what the voter turnout is. We are still to see a copy of Form 17C of the 2024 general elections. In Delhi, we've filed RTI applications and under the conduct of election rules for copies of Form 17C. They've been denied to us flatly. And I think that this really is a cause for concern, because we are repeatedly told that Form 17C will be given to the candidates, or rather their polling agents, not to citizens. And that the underlying thing there is that elections are for the candidates or for the political parties, which is totally untrue. So I think that institutions like the Election Commission really need to step up and understand that if there are questions, then the only way to ensure public trust is if there is transparency, if they are working in an accountable manner, and people see them not only as being fair, but also they're seen to be fair. That's very important. So